and welcome back to the Pregnancy and Postnatal Entrepreneurs Collective podcast. I'm your host, Niamh Cassidy, IBCLC and antenatal educator and business coach and mentor to birth workers just like you. So I'm currently recording this on midterm break, so hopefully I won't have any interruptions, but the children are occupied for now. So today what we're going to talk about is 3 things that new birth workers can do to start getting more clients. Or if you have been running your business for a while and you're really struggling with getting clients, that this is for you as well. So hopefully this will help you feel less overwhelmed and having some steps that you can take to actually see the results that you want, because I do know how overwhelming it can be when you just get started. I know for me that I found it really difficult. I was so excited about running my classes and all the parents I was going to help, and then when I was finding that I wasn't getting enough bookings to run the classes or any bookings at all, that I felt really down about it and also really overwhelmed because there was so much information out there. I didn't really know what was actually going to help. So I just want to let you know that this is totally normal, but also that it is solvable. You can actually do something about it. And you don't have to have a big fancy website or a massive following. You just need a little bit of focus and to commit to maybe these 3 actions and just see if you get the results. So the first action you can take is networking. And I want you to stay with me on this one because I know many of you might feel really uncomfortable with the idea of networking, or you don't really know what to do, but really all it is making friends. It's just about connecting with people, having conversations, and just being the real authentic you. You don't have to pretend to be somebody else. You don't have to have a sales pitch. This is not what I'm talking about when I'm talking about networking. It's about building connections with other people. So how do you start with it? Well, first of all, I really like you to start with telling your existing network what you're doing. So if every friend or family member or WhatsApp group you are in does not know what you are doing, then it's time to tell them. I know it can feel a bit weird, but people are really excited to support people in business and people that they know. So it's really important that everyone who you know knows what it is that you do. And it can be as simple as sending out a little message and just saying, hey, I'm not sure whether I told you yet, but I've started as a birth worker, and just telling them a little bit about the role that you do and who it's for. So if you know anybody that might need this service and you want to pass on my details, here's how to contact me. So it can be really as simple as that to start off with. And you really do need to start with that personal network so that they know what you're doing as well. And then you can start to reach out to other professionals who are working with pregnant and postnatal families as well. So think about all the other people who might be coming in contact with them. So whether it's other doulas or antenatal teachers, midwives, GPs, yoga teachers, pregnancy massage people, holistic care people. So just think about the other people who are coming in contact with the people who you want to serve, and start looking at the profiles. If you know some of them, then get in touch with them, let them know what it is that you're doing. And if you don't know them, then just reach out and say hello and just tell people what it is that you're doing, where you're doing it, and who you're doing it for. It can be really nice as well if there's some of those people who you reach out to who you feel like you could have a good proper connection with, to try and arrange to either have a call or to meet for a coffee, or even to get a group of people together to just talk about birth work in your area or how you can all support pregnant and postnatal families. So try not to feel really weird about it. Just try and say to yourself that, okay, all I'm doing is telling people what I do. I'm just reaching out for connections. It's not about like, I'll scratch your back, you'll scratch my back kind of thing. It's about just making friends and letting people know what it is that you're doing. You can also join like online groups and Facebook groups and forums where new parents or pregnant people hang out. Now, when I say this, you're not there to promote your services. You're there just to be helpful. And then people can start to see that you are a helpful person in that space. And then they might click on your profile and then see what it is that you are doing professionally. So also make sure that if you say, for example, if you're doing that on Facebook, that your Facebook profile has some information on what it is that you do for work as well. So in all of these conversations, we want to be generous with our time, with our information. We are not trying to be salesy here. We are building relationships. And with those relationships, referrals will naturally come later. You can also look if there are any collaboration opportunities for you. So whether that's about doing swap posts for each other's profiles or doing lives together or events together. So it's all about working together and building relationships with other people. So I want you to think right now, what is one person who you could reach out to today when this episode is over to just tell them what it is that you do and to get to know them a little bit better. So just pick one person and do it today. And then if you can pick one person every single day for the next week, then you will have grown your network by a lot. So the second thing that you can do to help you get more clients is to get consistent on social media. Now, I know that is such a challenge. And what I want to say to you is that we're not looking for perfection. So one of the reasons why birth workers find social media so challenging is because they overthink what it is that they're posting and they're trying to get everything perfect. So we don't want that to happen, okay? So start off with picking one platform. What is the one platform you're going to commit to showing up for? And we want to get that consistency over perfection, as I said. Your early posts might be a bit wobbly, and that's okay because it's all about learning what works for you. It's all about talking to your audience and building your audience. So it's a long game, but every post is a breadcrumb and it's helping you build trust and familiarity with the people who see that content. So we want to make sure that you are getting into some level of consistency so that people can trust that there's always going to be something new for you there on whatever platform it is that you choose. If you're unsure what you should be posting about, then some ideas could be, what you have been learning in your training or the different things that you are really passionate about. You might cover some common questions that you've seen from new parents or from pregnant families. You might do a bit of behind the scenes of the work of you preparing to go to see a client or a review of a shift that you had and how it went. So try to create like a really simple routine around your posting. So even if you can get out 3 posts a week and just try and get that out consistently, then that's really going to help you build that know, like, and trust factor and really position you as someone who people might want to work with. And don't get bogged down into perfection. I know I've said it already, but I feel like I need to say it again because that's where the overwhelm comes in when you're just trying to do everything perfectly, when you're worried about what people are going to think. Try not to get too far into that and just try and put out things that you know that are really simple that people need to hear and will be helpful for them. And also remember to tell them about your services as well. I know for me, it was only when I started with this consistency of 3 posts a week that my audience really did start to grow and that I was getting more people who were actually booking because they had found me on Instagram. That's where I do most of my posting. So it is really important to have some level of consistency, and you will see over time the results from that. You will see that you are getting more followers when you are consistent in comparison to when you're not. So really trying to get into a little routine where you can get out even 2 or 3 posts a week just so that you can get into that consistency and not be overwhelmed at the same time. And then the third thing that you can do to help you get more clients now is to learn how to talk about what you do, okay? Because your messaging really, really does matter. And so many birth workers like you know your stuff, but you can struggle to explain it in a way that clicks with the people that you want to serve. So really learning about messaging and understanding how to speak to your ideal clients, how to speak to the people who you want to serve is really, really game changing in everything that you do. So we want to get your consistency in your social media, but then if you're using social media as your main promotion tool, you want to get really good at messaging so that people know that you're talking to them. Because messaging, it's not just about telling people things. So you're not just trying to deliver information. You're trying to connect with what your ideal client is feeling, what they're worried about, or what they're hoping for. It's not just all about saying, here's some helpful information and here are the facts. We want them to feel engaged with it. We want to evoke some sort of emotion We want them to feel, oh my God, she was inside my brain because that's exactly what I was thinking. And therefore they feel that they can relate to the content. And then they're much better able to take in the information if there's an emotional connection and if they feel that they can relate to the content. So it's really important in that to try not to use too much jargon, either birthwork jargon or medicalized jargon. We want to use the words that parents actually use themselves. And sometimes we can be a little bit uncomfortable with that. So, for example, one of the things that some birth workers are uncomfortable is talking about cesarean sections because it's a funny word, it's a funny phrase. And it can sound quite harsh. But if cesarean section is the word that the people in your community, the actual people who are having this operation use, then it is important to use the words that the people use as well. Now, you can also explain that you like to use a different term and then explain why and what that term is. So you can educate your audience on why some other words might be more appropriate or might feel better for them. But it's not about removing the words that parents actually use, because as I said, we want to connect with them directly. We want to make them feel that we understand what's going on for them. And if the vast majority of the people that you want to serve use the term cesarean section, but you prefer the term belly birth, then and you say belly birth, then you're probably not going to resonate with those people. Now, if your ideal client are people who already understand that language, then absolutely use that language. But if they're not, if they're a more general population, then we want to try and use the language that the parents themselves are using. So what you can do is you can kind of keep a list of the words and phrases that your ideal client uses. And then if you like, so if you were in those Facebook groups or those online forums where parents are actually chatting, you can kind of scan them, get an idea for the type of language that people use, and then you can use similar language in your posts, in your website, in your messaging on social media. But we want to remember as well that even this isn't going to be perfect at the start, so you can just test different types of terms, different words, different phrases. You can test the order that you do things in your posts or in your messaging. Don't be afraid to experiment, because that's how we learn what works and what doesn't. So don't kind of think, okay, Niamh has said I need to do my messaging and it needs to be this and it needs to be that, and then you get overwhelmed and you're completely and utterly stuck on the whole thing. You want to kind of take in some of this information and then just start playing with it, start experimenting and start seeing what is getting the results that you're looking for and what isn't. And then repeating more of what works and then doing less of what doesn't work. Okay, so I hope you found those 3 tips really, really helpful. So just as a reminder, what we talked about was get networking and start having conversations and making friends with other people and learn about what they do and letting them know what you do as well. Getting consistent on one social media platform. It doesn't mean that you have to post every day, but let's try and get even 2 to 3 posts out every week on a consistent basis rather than on a sporadic one. And also to work on your messaging and learning more about how to make it client focused and how to make it really resonate with the people that you want to serve. And just a quick reminder, you don't need to do all the things. Start small, but start now. Don't be leaving things for down the line. I'll do that when. If you really focus on these 3 areas over the next month, I can promise that you are going to start seeing the rewards and seeing that more people are engaging with your content, that you are getting more referrals in, or you're getting more ability to collaborate with other people as well. So I would love to hear about how you felt about these different tips. Do you feel that you can implement them? And then also I'd love to hear from you after you implement them and how it has gone for you. So feel free to DM me on Instagram. You will get me at the Pregnancy and Postnatal Entrepreneurs Collective. And I really love hearing about how people are using the podcast to actually take action. So this is what I'm going to ask for you today, is to take action on some of the things that you've heard about, if not all of them. And also in action taking for me, if you are enjoying this podcast, if you would like to leave a review, in particular on Apple Podcasts, I would be absolutely delighted, because that really helps other people find the podcast as well. Okay, thanks very much. We will be back next week.